Burgard Rippy out here at the 3699 Ranch. It's a fairly quiet morning, about 8:30, September the 3rd. It seems like a Sunday, but it's Monday. And check it out, man. We have our, we usually don't get third cutting, but on these two fields we do this year. September the 3rd. The geese were moving this morning. Garden update, lawn and garden, and some of my mechanical malfunctions, and a yearly wrap up. I'm not really getting the red bell peppers yet. They're California Wonder bell peppers. We'll get there, but these are Mexican sunflowers that I planted in the wrong spot and had planned to have 100 feet of them, and mixed my seed up with the zinnias. Now, I've been out here this morning. I've been yanking zinnias all morning, wildflowers. Trimming galore, painting, and more trimming. Some tree work. Um, Had a little fun. Last night they had fireworks for an hour and a half out here. I don't know why I didn't get my camera out because the grand finale was just, and my dog was shaking till 3 in the morning, man. It's been an all weekend party. Several live bands. I mean, it's been music the whole time. Oh, I acquired a grease luber over here. This stuff's just like in the rough, you know. I have very little money in it. So, this guy needed brake lines. Um, my winter car, and like this is an old brake line, and that's a new one. All kinds of brake lines on this car was replaced on the back so far. I've got it all bled out. I'm on the downstroke on the brake line thing on that guy. These quartz come in handy that I repainted. Had some meaningful painting this year. And these are all my onions. And that's way more than enough for me. I'm single. My barn, I replaced that and restored the sign, and that side was busted out. I got the lumber out of there that I hadn't, and have that all in there. There's even grass growing again. Someone from Michigan bought my brother's S10, the other red one, and paid cash. He's just like, what do you want for that truck, you know? And he bought my brother's truck. And then the next day, my brother bought this as a one owner 1995 square body. The last year they made them. It had that topper on it. The guy used it like a car. It was an estate. And the guy had passed away a couple years ago, and I don't know when he quit driving it, but it's getting all new stuff from when it's been sitting. Um, XL 302 with a 5-speed stick, full-wheel drive, half-ton. Boom, with 100,000 on the clock, and that's what this one turned 112 on a 2010. That one's an 05. Seemed like something was over here. I don't know. A big mess. My messy garage. Getting ready for winter. This is my little one-man brake bleeder. Degreasing wheels to put back on. I always clean the front and back. I got some oven cleaner and wheel cleaner. Picked up some freebies. Curb fines. Did an oil leak on the lawnmower. Trimmed this guy right here. Had all those water spouts on it. I haven't trimmed that apple yet, but this one, kind of that flat top that everyone likes. It's a really old apple tree. And I have the debris on top of the car over there, the Jeep. And I'm loading up more. I have a big mess out here, and this thing's messy right now too, but I'm gonna show it anyway. And so that's where my oil leak was, and I was Teflon taping that pipe, and I replaced the cap. It was still leaking. The bolts were loose. The two cases were coming apart. The gasket was leaking. I seen a video where a guy on a European, like where the transmission bolts to a transfer case, and he slathered silicone on there, and he goes, the worst thing it could do is not work. And I thought, this guy, I like this guy. And so I slathered JB Weld on the side of the, where the two cases bolt, the sump bolts to the block, because the engine has to come off that mower to repair that leak. And I only have a half hour on it, but so far it's not leaking, and I'm not taking the engine off with 1,000, almost 100 hours. Some nice apples on this guy. I think they're wine saps, yeah. Pie apples. And yeah, probably need to be spraying that guy. We're doing the garden, so the geese were moving this morning. But so happy so far because on that oil leak, the oil drips down onto the belts. It's belt drive, or the belt to the hydraulic, and the belt to the mowing deck. And the oil would deteriorate and make the belt slip. So those are the Zennas I picked. I put them on the skid. I'm going to drag them around. Maybe I'm going to harvest Zenna seed. A big mess with the tomatoes. But this is all I'm taking out today. I'll throw all this on top of the Jeep. I'll drag this over to the side and put a tarp over it if it rains. I haven't had to hose out here in over a month. Those peppers were in the way over here, so they had to go. My trees, I'm really happy with. These are Ponderosa pine. I want to show my, because this is about my last video. I missed these. Chinese hemlock over here. I water them every day. It's a guessing game. The seed went in the dirt Memorial Day-ish, and I had $20 worth of seed. And about 500 seeds, and I got, a few dozen trees. I had no germ from Austrian pine, but I did successfully grow what I think and was told was Chinese hemlock. I bought them off someone out in Reno or something, Nevada. And these Ponderosa pine, man, these seeds are like 30 cents a piece. But this one has all this new growth on it here in September the 3rd. So that's a crazy one, and they're weedy, I know, and I got a big mess, but I'm showing it anyway. Look how big these ones are. You can tell from the fork over there how big they are. I think these will go back to my pond. I think I'm going to be transplanting some. I thought about putting all these in containers, and I thought about overwintering the Chinese hemlock in my front porch by a window. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking about taking them inside, but this is some late cabbage I bought. There's 2 varieties. I thought I got 6, but I got 8. And I do have the dust form, the Hungarian hot wax, whatever, sweet and hot, red hots, and hot banana sweets and banana hots. Kind of mixed in there, and had some wonderful. They are really late over, and they have dew on them here, 8:30 in the morning ish, going on 8:45, and the cherry bombs will go in double cages next year. I didn't go high enough with the Florida weave, and didn't bring a hose out here for a month or so. Very little love. The pickles, I just didn't know what to do with all of them. I was eating sweet corn for several weeks. There's still some in the fridge. This asparagus is like bamboo or something. It's grown in there so thick, it's like an impenetrable wall. Off there's just a few plants I planted a few years ago. Out there, if you can see my root barb. And then I replaced the trim on the corners of the barn on this side. This side takes all the weather. So I was able to do that this year, or keep putting stuff like that off. And that other side, no one ever sees it, so it was never going to happen. I didn't jerk these yet, but you see how they sprawl out? The management of the damn thing, it's crazy. And that asparagus. And so I have bug damage on the pepper from all that. Who knows what's living in there? Weeds everywhere. But bell peppers, they're just green. Loaded with bell peppers. Must have bought too many. Here's the The cherry bombs I'm proud of, and I want to double cage these next year. I want to use a small cage. I hadn't grown these in a few years. I just thought I'd go in a store and buy them, but no one carries them in my stores anymore. So I'm growing them again myself. That's where I get my heat. And I have 2 1-gallon bags full of quart bags or sandwich bags, sliced, cleaned, and ready to go in the freezer of those guys. And I'll eat a couple cabbage, and then I'll freeze a couple, and that's all. I got 3 times as much as I'm going to need. Oh, I want to show my garlic. So my music died. I had the music garlic. Let's go. I can't wait to tend to my trees. And I went to the store. I bought the soft neck from California or whatever, Chinese garlic instead of hard neck. And they come in a little 3-pack in a net. And I used some, and then I broke them up, and I planted a row of garlic, and that was in July. Well, they've only been in the ground a month. There's cloves from a bulb, and I broke it up because you cannot overwinter soft neck garlic, and they grow it in California and stuff. But I thought I would hedge my bet and just see what happens. And I mean, you can eat the whole plant basically if you slice it up and throw it on your stuff for a garlic kick. Back there's a couple machines I've been using, keeping everything running and repaired, and eating very good. I just had all this sweet corn and bowls of tomatoes and pickles, all that fresh from my garden. It was beautiful, and I'm really happy that this one cleaned up good. I get bagworms on apple trees. Doing some spraying with 2,4-D, some insecticide, but yeah, nothing really like the neem oil and all that. This guy needs a haircut, something awful. And dodged a bullet on all the weather drastically, and had a very good hay year out here, and have a big mess. So that's where we're at today on Labor Day, September the 3rd. Thanks for watching.